I want to build a time machine and ask Sylvia Plath if high school boys ever pushed aside her voice.
Told her to stop blabbering and go write a poem about it or something. Yaar.
I want to ask Frida Kahlo how many shades of misogyny she had to encounter.
How much toxicity resided in her lungs from the poison that she was smothered with.
I want to ask Marilyn Monroe how she managed to hide all of her trauma behind short white dresses flying effortlessly.
A perfect facade of happiness.
Because the media doesn't like complex women.
The world doesn't like artistic women who don't fit into the width of its palms.
Larger-than-life girls with paintbrush swords and cannonballs filled with ink.
With soprano war cries and jhumkas for armors.
Girls who take up more space than they've been allotted.
Fact. Support for women in art is subjective.
Because we're only valued when we're scribbling songs of worship for arrogant boys at the back of the classroom.
Right?
The same football jocks who give me advice on spoken word poetry.
Whilst proudly proclaiming that they've never read a book in their lives.
But they mean well. Everyone says they do.
So I didn't say anything.
Because I know that we only mean something when we need to be saved.
Right? All the boys want to save crazy sad girl who writes to feel alive. Crazy sad girl.
She never misses a note, but you can feel the pain in her voice. Crazy sad girl.
She just needs someone to love her. To take care of her.
To make her life worth living again.
Spare us. We have no interest in being your sympathy pawn. In fact, you know what crazy sad girl needs?
To be paid for all the magic she makes.
Cause even crazy girls can't live off of exposure and pity. Crazy sad girl
needs to not be undermined by egotistical boys and their goddamn savior complexes.
Crazy sad girl needs to... Oh, I don't know.
Be taken seriously for her art?
Once a boy scoffed. Wait, dudes doing Kathak.
So gay. And in the very same breath, he said, belly dancing chicks are so hot, bro.
Because art is only worth your time if she's your Munni or your Sheila.
Right? Because my footsteps can only survive the tides if I'm your baby doll.
Your item.
Your mall.
Right? Because art is only beautiful when it caters to the eyes of hungry men.
Right? Boys I know are scared to write poetry because they think it'll make them weak.
The feminization of art is a bitter contradiction. Once, I heard a heavy voice say in resignation,
Anonymous
is always
a woman.
Like our stories are always hidden within the pages of a man's world.
Like I know that Harvey Weinstein produced My Week with Marilyn,
but that does not entitle him to women's bodies.
Dozens of actresses terrified into compliance.
Their careers ruined if they didn't agree.
And our voices have grown hoarse, screaming.
Hashtag no means no. Hashtag me too. Hashtag I will go out. Hashtag I will paint the town red and there is nothing you can do to stop me. Like in 1922, F. Scott Fitzgerald plagiarized most of the beautiful and the damned from the diaries of his wife, Zelda.
You didn't know her name until you heard this poem.
And in 2017, a boy performs a poem from the perspective of a victim of marital rape.
Pours her anguish into his verse and gains applause, 10,000 shares, all of those heart reacts, comments praising his hashtag bravery, hashtag activism of a story that is not even his to tell.
And girls everywhere, with paint in their curls and ink stains on their thumbs,
are painfully unsurprised. You see, they snatch our narratives from the reach of our fingers.
And then ask why we're so quiet.
Like, why don't you just speak up?
Men are so threatened by the thought of girls who can roar louder than they can
that they turn us from lionesses into fireflies.
Pretty.
Harmless.
There for momentary pleasure.
Never capable of actual change.
Just fairy lights, renting as much space as they can afford to.
But we are here with our lightsaber paint brushes.
Flaming voices and simmering words.
We will light up this planet.
We are ready to burn.